Was für eine Kraft kann ein Film entwickeln, wenn nicht finanzielle oder ästhetische Gründe den Macher antreiben, sondern allein die Geschichte, die er erzählen möchte, erzählen muss? Santiago Rizzo hat in seinem ganzen Leben nicht einen Kurzfilm gedreht, aber er wollte seinem Lehrer, der ihm in schwerster Stunde beistand, ein filmisches Denkmal setzen. Mit dem Film Quest ist es ihm absolut gelungen, denn der Film wirbt auf wärmste Weise für Aufrichtigkeit, Liebe, Geduld gegenüber Kindern.
Der 12-jährige Mills geht nicht gern nach Hause. Lieber bleibt er nachts draußen und arbeitet an der Vollendung seiner Werke. Sein Lehrer macht sich Sorgen und sucht, trotz Verwarnung durch die Schulleiterin, immer wieder die Nähe zu Mills. Denn er hat das Gefühl, dass etwas mit dem Jungen nicht stimmt.
Hello. I was hoping I could talk to Mills. I'm his football coach, Tim.
Mills, he ain't here.
You know where I might find him?
What'd he do this time?
We have a big game coming up, and he's been missing practices, not to mention missing class.
Yeah, he's like that, you know, we never know when he's gonna turn up.
I'm pretty worried, because the last time I saw him, he looked like he was beat up, bruised. In fact, it looked like somebody maybe beat him with a belt.
Von seinem Stiefvater misshandelt, von seiner Mutter ignoriert und von der Schule zum Lügner gestempelt, bleibt nur noch dieser eine Mensch, der Mills noch traut. Doch dieser persönliche Einsatz am Rande der Legalität bringt den engagierten Lehrer in Schwierigkeiten. Quest ist eine wahre Geschichte über die bedingungslose Liebe, wie sie Regisseur Santiago Rizzo als Kind selber erfahren durfte. Sein Lehrer und späterer Ziehvater kann uns alle inspirieren, für Kinder gerade dann da zu sein, wenn niemand mehr für sie da ist.
He lies all the time, too.
It's funny. He's always honest with me.
Welcome, Santiago Rizzo and Lou Diamond Phillips. I saw your film yesterday. Thank you very much for this great film. Lou Diamond Phillips, you've done so many films, but what does this special film Quest mean to you?
Quest to me is a continuing journey, you know, in what I try to do, you know, in picking roles. Not all of them are going to be great, not all of them are going to have an impact, but I've been very, very fortunate, especially with true stories, in telling stories about the human condition, about life, that are very inspirational, that are very aspirational. It goes back to La Bamba and Stand and Deliver, even recently the 33 about the Chilean miners. And Santiago's script, when I first read it, I thought this is just beautiful. This will touch some people. It could perhaps, you know, change some people's minds and hearts. You know, I think it will have a very, very positive impact on society. And even though I'm playing the bad guy, you know, it's me contributing to something that I think is going to be important for a lot of people. It will touch a lot of people. As you said, you've been thinking about it all day yourself, you know. So as an actor, that's the kind of work I want to do.
Mr. Rizzo, you have Lou Diamond Phillips playing the stepfather in Quest. How was it for you seeing him acting this and having him for this role?
Well, first of all, I have to give a lot of credit to Darren Anderson as well for helping me with the script. He was one of the co-writers, and he put together a really great first draft, which I had since molded quite a bit. So I want to make sure that I give credit to him as well.
Okay, yeah.
It was Lou came prepared. He came and understood this role really well. We did some work on the phone beforehand, understanding the kind of mannerisms and what kind of psychology I feel my stepfather had, and his rationale for beating me as a child, and where the core came from and his struggles. My stepfather was 17 years in prison before he met my mother. And he had some demons, and you know, the child is a trigger for his insecurity, which is very typical for many children that grow up with step parents at times. Not, you know, one of the most compassionate people, I feel, are step-parents, because they have a very difficult job of loving another child that's not theirs. And I give so much respect to step-parents that give that child unconditional love, because the child just needs to be loved. And it's a really tough job for a step-parent. Yeah, it was difficult. You know, Lou helped me out, and it was wonderful seeing him on set as like a totally different person. Then he comes in and is, you know, so in character. It was just, yeah, it was wonderful having someone with his talent to come in and deliver as he did.
Good. Okay, well, you know, if he comes home, we'll let you know. What did you say your name was again?
Tim Moellering.
What Tim did for me was selfless. Mm-hmm. I got to really experience what selflessness is, because he took care of a child that wasn't his own.
And it was for him hard because he could lose his job.
He could lose his job, he hurt his reputation. Also, I was probably meaner to Tim than any human being that has ever been in his life. Yet still, he didn't judge me, because he had the compassion and empathy and understood, because he could walk in my shoes and understood the issues I must have been facing in my trust issues. And yet still, he stuck by my side. And I made a lot of mistakes. I crashed, we bought a car together, and I didn't have my license yet. And on the first day that we bought the car, the next day, I went driving around the corner to try and impress some kids, and I totaled another car across the street, and I drove off and hid the car. And I came back and tried to act like nothing happened. And you know, at that point in time, he really questioned whether or not he would continue to be on my side when I wasn't coming clean to him. Yet he still stuck with me. So his level of compassion is something that we can all learn from. His empathy, the principles he lives by, I put him at the end of the movie. Yeah. But in terms of what a parent can do, first of all, it's teach humility. You know, and teach your child, give love, give unconditional love. Yeah. And give unconditional love to those that may not be your children. And don't judge the child acting out, because oftentimes the kid that's acting out is going through a struggle you may not know about. A kid doesn't just go into class and act out for no reason. There must be something else going on in the house. And the more awareness you can have towards that, the more love you're going to put out into the world, and the easier it is to help society and make it better by teaching through love as opposed to punishment. And that's what Tim did for me. He didn't punish me through the detention. He took me to Cal football games, took me to dinners.
Yeah. The film gives, I saw the film and everyone else really got those feelings, and this is what you wanted to give. But you had to learn to make films before, is that right? You wanted to make a film, and it was not about, I want to be a filmmaker, it was about you wanted to tell the story. Is this right?
Yeah, I had no experience making a movie prior to this. I hadn't even shot a short film. And I never expected or wanted to direct the movie. It was never my intention. I went with the script that I had co-written, and I went and tried to get producers. Producers didn't want to get involved in the project because they didn't know who I was. Maybe they judged me for coming from abuse, thinking that I might be crazy, thinking I might be dangerous. I've gotten a lot of that judgment at times. Also, because it's such a difficult role for a child to play, nobody thought a kid could pull that role off. Plus, they didn't think it was sellable because it's a child that's unknown. They thought it was very difficult to do for our budget, and I wasn't able to get producers to help. So I thought, okay, I'll produce it. And then I tried to get directors. I wasn't able to get a director that I believed in. I think the directors that did talk to me probably saw I was so passionate about the project myself that they may not be able to take control.
Yeah, yeah. Were there space for them? No, there was no space for them.
There was no space for them, yeah. And that wasn't on purpose. I wasn't aware, but I needed to make the movie. And a friend of mine made a couple of movies and he said, Santi, why aren't you directing this? I was like, I don't know anything about camera, not your department. I don't know anything about sound, not your department. I don't know anything about, not your department. You bring good people around you and you trust in the talent and you trust in your own instinct. And I had acted with him in a play in college, and I'd always acted as a kid. I went into LA after college trying to pursue the arts and then left. I used to cater tables actually for Wolfgang Puck. I catered the Oscars. And you know, I left LA afterwards because I was too poor to continue to pursue the arts. So I went and saved up money on Wall Street, and I trusted my gut and I trusted my struggle. But I went into this producing and directing with zero experience. But I knew the love for Tim in Berkeley, and I knew the support for him, and I knew the locations would help, I knew the city would help. I thought I could get, you know, enough support because Tim was so loved that I thought I could get it done. And I thought I could get the performance out of a child. That's what I was most confident about.
Yeah, okay. And you did. You really did.
Absolutely.
How was working with this young, talented actor? I mean, this is great, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, the thing about child actors, they are very unself-conscious. You know, a lot of times as adults, we worry about what other people think. We put up these walls. We've learned to put on masks and, you know, present a different face than what is really there. And good acting is all about taking off the mask. It's about, you know, exposing yourself, exposing your heart and what's going on inside. So if you get a kid who is open and can listen, you know, then you're going to get results. And you know, Gregory did a fantastic job. And I should say Gregory did a fantastic job because Santiago did a fantastic job with him. Obviously,
Greg is nothing like this. If you met
Yeah.
Greg, he's a very sweet kid.
He's very sweet. He's very polite. He's a good kid, and yeah, you know. So it's almost like you have to give him permission to go there, you know. But at the same time, he's like, come back, reel it back a little bit. Now you're getting carried away, you know. So it's. I mean, you know, like all actors, you kind of have to, you know, ride them a little bit. Otherwise, they'll, you know, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. But for me, all of my work, or the majority of my work, you know, was with you know, little Gregory, and it was that dynamic. It was that, you know, very interesting thing that we had to create, because you can't just scare the kid, you know. You can't just make him defensive and make him, you know, afraid of you, because then there's no trust, and he'll shut down. So the funny thing is, you have to do the converse of that. You have to gain trust. Yeah. You have to gain, you know, a comfortability, you know, with each other, so that, you know, I go, listen, I'm going to throw you around. He's like, okay, that'll be fine. You know, I'm going to smack you once.
It's
you know,
fun. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, yeah, because he trusted me not to really hurt him. Yeah. He trusted me that between takes, I wasn't really going to, you know, mistreat him, and we had a great time. Yeah. You know, and so. What's nice is that there's a great deal of bravery and courage on the screen, you know, between the two of us, that we were willing to go where Santiago needed us to go.
Okay. Wow, thank you for this interview and this wonderful film. Lou Diamond Phillips and Santiago Rizzo. Thank you.
Thank you.